Okay, let's talk about Jeff Gladney, and to be honest, this is not going to be a very positive video. It just isn't, because if I'm just being honest, there wasn't a ton of positives I saw on tape, and part of that is just being a rookie corner. Rookie corner, hard to be good. We've seen that time and time again. A lot of guys have had a lot of bad years as a rookie, get better in the future. However, I'm a little bit more concerned with Gladney than I am with some of these other rookie corners who had disappointing first years. And so let's talk about why I feel that way. Feel free to already yell at me in the comments below. Listen, I'm just saying how I thought he played last year. If you disagree with that, fine. But I'm saying what I see on tape. So right off the bat, this play, it's a cover 2 man play. And you notice who Gladney is covering. He's covering Russell Gage Jr. And this is something that I found interesting, is you saw Gladney play a good amount in the slot, which is, that's fascinating for me because I'm not sure that that's what they had envisioned when they first went out and drafted him. I think a big part of it might be that he is a bit on the slower side for a first round corner. He ran a 4.48, which isn't awful. You can live with a 4.48, but it's definitely on the slower side a little bit. But anyways, watch what's going to happen on this play. This play, it's going to be more about, again, ton of space over the middle. So this is, in fairness, a very difficult play for him to try and cover. But I think my issue with Gladney is going to be what's going to be shown on this play, which is he doesn't have the best speed. So if you're not the fastest, you have to make up for it by having really good footwork, really good awareness, or being really good at the line. And he isn't really good at any of that stuff. Because, watch. Right off the bat, he just gets juked out massively. I mean, look at, at some point he tried to make a move, but I mean, look at that. He's 10 yards away from where the receiver he's trying to cover is. Not that much, but he's legitimately 5 yards away by the time the ball is thrown. That's as open as it gets in the NFL, quite frankly. So that is absolutely kind of an issue right there. And it's already bad enough with stuff like this where, on this play, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to talk about his speed a little bit because, like I said, you pretty much, if you're not the fastest corner, and, he broke the 4.5 threshold, so it's not like his speed is such a problem he can't even play. In theory, he can still play. There is still hope for him, I think, and, there would still be hope if he ran a 4.53, but just, a little bit less, obviously. But anyways, watch what happens on this one. This one's a great example of showing why that speed and lack thereof can become a real issue in the NFL, because he's going up one-on-one right here, and watch what's going to happen. So right off the bat, it's a good move. Again, you're going to see a lot of good moves when you're in the NFL. That's the reality of the situation. But at the same time, Gladney at this point should have plenty of time to come back. He did read it pretty well on this one, and so he should be able to get over and try to, not allow too much separation. Maybe a perfect throw and a good catch will make the play, but you know what? If you're forcing the quarterback to make a perfect throw, you're doing your job as a corner. That really is your job a lot of times. You don't have to be perfect, just make them be perfect. However, again, because of the lack of speed, you see that there's a good amount of separation, and that ball was underthrown, but it was still complete. And if Gladney was faster, well, then he knocks the ball away, and that's not a completion. So, it's good that he has really good ball skills, but at the same time, when you're never in position to touch the football, your ball skills don't matter too much. I think this play might have been his career low light so far, so we'll show it. Again, I'm sorry. Apologies to Jeff Gladney if he's watching this video. This is just how I feel. I'm interested in talking about this kind of stuff. What's going to happen is that it's a man coverage. He is going up one-on-one against Julio Jones. So right off the bat, this is just unfair to him going up one-on-one against Julio Jones. That's the first issue right here. And right when this play starts, I'm not sure exactly what he thinks is happening. He's calling for, it looks like a switch of some kind. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm not sure who he thinks should be covering Jones. So maybe it's just possible, I don't know, he was stretching in the middle of a play. I have no idea. But this, right off the bat, strikes me as odd because I don't know what he's doing right here. I'm not in the huddle for the Vikings, but this seems like he's trying for a switch when clearly this is not a switch. Clearly you were on Julio Jones. No one else can take on Julio Jones right here. No one's in position to do that. You have to take on Julio. But then to his credit, he does end up closing that separation after giving up a ton. And now at this point, this is another example of, to me, this example is going to be mostly rookie mistakes. Nothing here is something that I consider to be long-lasting concerns. These are more of just the mistakes he was making last year, is little stuff like this, and I'm using an extreme example because that's more interesting. So Julio is now blocking Gladney, which you can do at this point because Matt Ryan is outside the pocket, but what Gladney needs to make sure he's doing is you still have to cover Julio Jones. Yes, I know Matt Ryan is outside the pocket, and Matt Ryan is well known for being a speed demon, but, at the same time, you do have to make sure you cover maybe the best receiver in football. That's kind of something that you have to do. Instead, Gladney breaks out of it to try to get closer and then leaves Julio wide open. He also fell down, and then Julio Jones just does Julio Jones things, stiff-arming a man and getting into the end zone. And listen, that's part of that is just, okay, you had to deal with the guy that is number 11 for Atlanta. He's burned everybody. It happens. But a big part of that, too, is he put himself in position to fail right there. And he needs to make a little bit better decisions when he's out there, which he will. Second year, he will. So that's more of a play of just showing kind of some of the mistakes he made that hopefully he'll clean up. Like something like this is another example. It's a cover 2 play, and this one's more of a traditional example. That one was fun, I think. Maybe you guys thought it was boring. I don't care. It's interesting to me. What's going to happen on this play is it's going to be cover 2 zone, and you see how both Dallas receivers are going to eventually run all the way to the right. And given that Gladney is, currently covering the white circle right there, that's where Gladney is. He's standing inside it currently. That's typically what he wants to cover. But it's important to remember that every zone is a suggestion, not a rule. And it's also important to realize that on this play for Dallas, they have 3 players lined up to the offense's left, 2 players to the right. So typically what Gladney is going to want to do on this play, since it's cover 2, is you just cover the guy who is second closest to the line of scrimmage to the offense's right. That's where he's covering. Basically, if someone's going too far, you let the safety take care of it. But if they're not, then you want to make sure that you take care of it. And so, watch, right? When this play starts, you notice that CeeDee Lamb is clearly that guy, right? The first receiver just runs straight over to the right. So at this point, for Gladney, I think a smart corner at this point says, I'm just covering CeeDee Lamb right here, which isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, but that's what you have to do because no one else is going to get into your zone anytime soon. Someone might eventually, but at that point, you hope that one of your teammates reads it and they get over there. However, Gladney instead just, stops and looks back at the quarterback for no reason, which allows Lamb to get wide open. And that's just one of those okay, you got to be a little bit smarter than that. And again, that's another just rookie mistake. So part of this is there are some, I think, very valid real concerns with Gladney. Some of this is there's just some rookie mistakes that he needs to improve on. So if he can clean that stuff up, I think there's a little bit of hope that way. But then there's stuff like this. So it's going to be man coverage, and that's the route you see CeeDee Lamb. It's pretty simple. And it's not even going to be like he's going to run this in such a creative way. I mean, Lamb's a rookie as well, but watch what happens. So Lamb takes a step, runs over, and at this point, Gladney's just completely out of position. I mean, if this is a good throw from Andy Dalton, CeeDee Lamb's catching it without Gladney even being able to dive and touch CeeDee Lamb, let alone the football. So that's kind of part of my concern, is that when someone could just make a simple move and just get by you that quickly, it typically means you just don't have the best footwork or aren't the fastest. And in Gladney's case, I kind of think it's both, which is kind of why I never understood why the Vikings drafted him to begin with, because I didn't see it with him, and I think that it's kind of showing true here. This ends up being an awful throw, but Lamb was able to make an incredible catch. So, Gladney did his best to try and get back into it, but if we're being honest, that was going to be an easy catch had it been a good throw. So that's just not a great play from Gladney. It isn't. And again, I know people are going to get mad at me. It's only a rook. It's only his first year. Give him a shot. I'm not saying don't give him a shot. See what he can do next year. But at the same time, it just wasn't good this year. I think we can watch the tape and say that wasn't good. I don't know how anyone can watch the tape and say, it was okay. It wasn't, I don't think. There could be room for improvement. And again, maybe you can look at certain traits that you like that he showed and say, there's this, so maybe it'll work out better next year. Maybe. And if you can find that, then cool. I hope it works out, I guess. I guess it doesn't really matter to me too much, but if it does work out, cool. But so far, his rookie season just hasn't been great, right? And, a lot of late picks like this don't end up working out too great, but I think that's been the case for him, is it hasn't been anything incredible. Granted, Cameron Dantzler actually had a good season for them, so, you at least got one promising rookie. It just wasn't the first-round guy. It was the third-round guy, which is kind of funny. But yeah, anyways, that's what I think of Jeff Gladney. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.